Every day it's the same old problem in my head going round and round. All my issues, you said you'd solve them. Here I am laying on the ground. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, but I know it's the same old thing. You keep playing games, it's clear to see. You and me, we cannot be. It's the same old problem, same heartbreak, nothing new. You try to fix, but we're still falling. Round and round, it's the same old problem. Round and round, it's the same old problem. You try to fix, but we're still falling. Round and round, it's the same old problem. Every month it's a rerun, baby. Round and round like we're going crazy. You say you've changed, but I can't see. It's like we're stuck in the same old maze. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, but I know it's the same old thing. You keep playing games, it's clear to see. You and me, we cannot be. It's the same old problem, same heartbreak, nothing new. You try to fix, but we're still falling. Round and round, it's the same old problem. Same old problem. The same old problem. You try to fix, but we're still falling. Round and round, it's the same old problem.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I just want to make sure. Oh, hello. Why did that happen? You guys able to hear me? I just want to make sure. Hello. Hey, Max. You will be without Scuff. You're an IT god. Yeah, I don't think I'm an IT god. At all, but I am seeing like some very exciting, like, I don't know, I feel like I look better that 50/80 is working hard. Not super hard though. I will admit she don't got her fans on, so we're okay. Um, but I did notice that. That was like the first thing I noticed when I entered V2 Studio. I was like, oh my god, wait a second. Like, I feel like my movements are a little smoother. I don't know. I don't know. But how are we feeling? What's going on? What's the tea? How's everybody doing? I know it's Tuesday. I usually like to have my Yap streams midweek, but we've got an exciting week coming up. So, you know, uh, just wanna, sore and tired. Oh my goodness. What happened? Oh, it's your day off. Okay. All right. Okay. How was everybody's, like, I guess, long-ish weekend, kind of? Um, I don't know. Here in Norway, it's like Easter is like 6 days. So, in Oblivion remaster this out. Oh gosh. Second to last exam, last one on Thursday. Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, we love that. I don't know. For us it's like 6 days, and like basically the whole country shuts down. It's actually kind of crazy. Like nobody's working. Everybody's spending time with their family, or they're traveling. It's kind of, what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like Labor Day weekend in the States, where like people are just kind of traveling, going to go see family. They take those 4 days, except here it's 6 whole days. Stay up way too late, hunched over a project, so no long weekend, just a normal one. Oh man, I love EU holidays. Yeah, I do too. Like, I'm really enjoying just like the slower pace, and being able to slow down, because I I don't know. I feel like after living in the States, I mean, given I'm was born raised in the US. It's just a different culture. Like, we have a different feeling about work, I guess you could say. Like, it's kind of, you live to work, whereas here it's kind of like you work to live, and you don't try to go beyond just working. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of separation between, like, somebody's personal life and their work life, which I actually very much enjoy. Um, but yeah. So there is that. We got that cooking. I don't know why I have like a playlist that plays in the background, and like I always expect when I'm yapping. And like, I guess I didn't set it up or anything. I don't really know. I don't know what happened there. I think it was the Stream Deck. I need to go back into my Stream Deck. But thank you for the follow. Hello. I'm happy to see that my chat's rolling. Alerts are going. We are just I love it. I love it. Um if you ever want to make US friends mad, bring them, or just bring up how much paid vacation and just parental leave in general. That's not something that the US has. I explaining that to people here is kind of crazy. They're always very shocked by the fact that we don't really have like maternity leave or paternity leave included and like mandated. And it's just like our circle of friends, they have kids, they're older, so they always ask us like about the States, like, what is it like, if like we were to raise our kids in the States. And I was like, well, honestly, like the biggest difference is like you don't have maternity and paternity leave that's mandated. It's kind of up to your employer, and like that is a huge shock to people. Whereas here it's, you kind of just get it. They get, at least in Norway, it's a full year. And first, I believe it's like the first 6 weeks is meant for the mother, just to try to heal up and everything. And then like after that, people can kind of split how they want to do the rest. So like the rest of the time is split between the mom and the dad, which is kind of cool. Hey Remy, what's up? But yeah, that and like childcare here is subsidized by the government. So it's like they said that their kids go to school for like 100 USD, around that. I'd say 150. It kind of depends on the commune you're living in here. But that's also very interesting because when I told them like the childcare rates that like my friends pay, and we're not talking about like my friends who are like taking their kids to like the child, like the CDC, which is the military daycare. Like I'm talking about like private daycare. Like they about fell over. They're like, so basically your entire paycheck. And I'm like, yeah. Either way, I wouldn't see any of it. Gotta love working in a hospital. Yeah, but like people who work in a hospital here, like they get the same time that everyone else does. I get it though. I worked in a hospital after I got out of the Navy. So it's it is quite interesting. I think that was like the craziest part for me is like hearing nurses be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to like pop out this baby." Like 4 weeks later, like I'm gonna be back on the floor, like at the ICU. I'm like, that's not. I don't know. Like that just doesn't. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I don't know. That's just my rant. My adult rant. I did find another nothing burger debate on TikTok for anybody who was wondering. It seems like this week's nothing burger debate. Oh gosh, I wrote it down. Hold on one second. I had it in my mind as I introduced the topic, and then I like totally forgot. Last week's, if you guys didn't hear, the nothing burger debate that I found on TikTok was should there be alcohol at a wedding? Like, is it a requirement? And I think our general consensus was like no, not you don't need that, but I don't know. God, I literally just had it. It was just in my brain and it left. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Wait a second. I definitely have it. It's somewhere. It's somewhere back in the deep reaches. It'll come to me like in the middle of stream too, which is the craziest part. But just know, they're fighting about something inconsequential on TikTok this week as well. I'll remember it. I'll remember it eventually. But anyway, today I wanted to kind of react to a talk or a lecture that Rear Admiral Grace Hopper gave. A few of you, when I mentioned my Oshi being Grace Hopper, you're like, who is she? What did she do? Why is she important? And I just, my only answer at the time was, well, she's a badass lady. Because I did not, I couldn't really get into the whatchamacallit, like the ins and outs of Grace Hopper. There's so much. And we were kind of, I forget what game we were playing. We were playing a game, but I was like, shit, if I start yapping about this, then we're never gonna play the game. And what's OR? Operating room. But yeah, I don't know. I should have made one of those like cute slideshows that I did. Hello, Josie. Hello. I should have made one of my slideshows so that you guys could see exactly who this badass lady is. But if you guys have ever heard the phrase there's a bug in the code, or there's a bug in the computer, or something like that, that was Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, and the story behind that is she found a moth in the Mark II when she was troubleshooting. And so she coined the term bug in the computer. So yeah, that is one of the things, it's not the greatest impact, but I would say maybe like greatest pop culture impact that she had, that not many people know where that came from. But anyway, she was a computer scientist. She she was in the Navy Reserves, yes. Years of service, 1943 to 1986. And the crazy part is they called her back to service. I believe, oh, let me look it up. I think she was like 80 something years old. Basically, she retired. She retired from the reserves. And then the Navy was like, "Oh shit, bro. Like, we kind of need you back." And so she served pretty much her whole life, I believe. She only had 2 years after, and then she passed away. But let me see, because I don't have it on off the top of my head. But yes, she very, very smart lady. Like, holy smokes. She known for COBOL, which is actually still used today. I know many people find that like completely crazy, but we still we still use COBOL. Yeah, so her career spanned more than 42 years, and she retired on August 14th, 1986. And her celebration was on the USS Constitution in Boston, which is pretty cool. And they gave her the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, which is absolutely insane. That is the highest non-combat related medal that you can have, or that you can, earn. So Admiral, I know Josie, I fangirl about her so much. She's just so freaking cool. She left us in 07, which again is Rear Admiral lower half, so Commodore. Yeah, she's just a badass lady. She just devoted her entire life to being a woman in STEM. And like I always say this, we love a woman in STEM. I am totally not biased, but yeah, she really, really paved the way. I do want to, at some point, I would love to be able to visit her at Arlington. That's like on my bucket list. I haven't really the last time I was in Arlington, I want to say I was like 13, and I did not have the appreciation for it that I do now. But yeah, she was a badass lady. I'm trying to find where it says. Yeah, she died in 1992. Retired. Okay, yeah. So it was more than 2 years. I lied. She had more than 2 years of freedom before before she passed away. But yeah, so I figured that, one of her talks actually was declassified by the NSA like forever ago. They have it on their YouTube channel. So I figured we would watch that together. She does crack some jokes. She's a funny lady. I mean, given, they're very classy jokes compared to my jokes. I feel like I'm very crass in comparison to her. Yeah, let's do it. All right. Again, I'm gonna give you the warning. I tried fixing the transition, but like, you know how it be. It just be wild sometimes. So, all right. Headphone users, warning in 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. Why am I off to the side? Yeah. Let me just move myself a little bit here. Yeah, I think that's better. That's better. It do be like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I tried playing with it, especially now with like Bessie. I'm like, oh, okay, like perfect. This is a perfect time to like start screwing with things. And so I was like, maybe I can mess with the audio a little bit and see if it'll work. And it depends on the viewer now. It was fine for me. I see we don't have great data points. Like, I don't know. Like everybody has a different. It's so weird, dude. I don't even know. Oh gosh. So it's a long talk. I don't know if we'll probably get through the whole thing, but it is a long talk. So get your snackies ready. I think, you know, there we go. Get your snackies ready. Why stop? There we go. I have to yell at the computer. Of course, of course. Also, please let me know if you cannot hear it or if you need me to turn it up. I can already see we'll probably need to turn it up. But just let me know. Just let me know. Oh god, that was started messing with the audio. There she is, a queen.
It's because it gives me an opportunity to remind you that the first large-scale digital computer in the United States was a Navy computer operated by a Navy crew during World War II. And recently I've been finding that I have to remind people of that because there's been a tendency on the part of a certain junior service to try and claim credit for those early computers, and they didn't even exist yet.
She's so sassy, bro.
So,
I love it.
Please remember that it was a Navy computer. And if you're wondering why I kept my cap on, I had a reason for that, too. It's because this is my identifier. I hope you all know by now that every record in a computer system must have an identifier. That's so you know where to put it and how to get it again.
Also, sorry, there's children screeching outside.
There's something odd about those identifiers.
All the windows are closed, but I'm picking them up.
The person that originally puts it on the record and the person who later looks at the record. That's where my problem has been. I go wandering around airports and people come up to me and say, "When's the next plane leave for Houston?" I got totally demoted one night in San Francisco. I got off an elevator, and there was a couple in the elevator with me. As I got off, I heard the woman say to her husband, "What was that?" No, you haven't heard the worst
She
of it.
really
He said
is
that
so
was a
funny.
security guard. So then I went up to Canada to speak at the University of Guelph, and I had to go through immigration at the Toronto airport. So I handed my passport to the immigration officer, and he looked at it and looked at me and said, "What are you?" And I said, "United States Navy." He took a second real hard look at me, and then he said, "You must be the oldest one they've got."
Jesus.
Now, I didn't really feel that was a polite way to welcome visitors to Canada. But the only put me down I could think of was to say, "No, Admiral Rickover is 6 years older."
Just so you guys are aware, I'm going to pause this real quick. Admiral Rickover is the father of nuclear navy, okay? He developed the entire nuclear program and the reason why we have nuclear carriers. So just a little bit of context behind that. And yes, he is also one that very old in his service.
But if you know what I am, I'll take my cap off. That only goes to show my white hair. Actually, I can remember when Riverside Drive in New York City, along the Hudson River, was a dirt road. And on Sunday afternoons, as a family, we would go out and sit on the drive and watch all the beautiful horses and carriages go by. In a whole afternoon, there might be one car. Cars were enormously expensive. They were individually built. There was no such thing as gas stations. If you went on a long trip, you got 5-gallon cans of gasoline, put them on the back deck, strapped into the car, and took your gasoline with you.
That's wild to me.
If you broke down in the middle of Utah, you wired back to the manufacturer. Then he sent a man out with a part. Then he worked on the part till it fitted your car. Then along came a gentleman named Henry Ford with two concepts: standard interchangeable parts and an assembly line. And he started to build Model Ts. I think we've totally forgotten how tremendously that changed the world. You could have any color you wanted as long as it was black. They cost between $300 and $600, and people started to own cars. Naturally, once they had cars, they demanded roads. We built them. Gas stations appeared. Garages could stock the interchangeable parts. They appeared. People found they could move to suburbs and drive to work. Then, of course, they wanted to shop in their homes, so we had to build shopping centers.
I also miss
I
this
think
style
we've
of
forgotten the
humor. Yeah,
tremendous
she,
developments that
like I
followed
said,
from the Model
way
T
classier
forward.
in her jokes than I am.
Now, whether you recognize it or not, the Model Ts of the computer industry are here. We've been through the preliminaries of the industry. We're now at the beginning of what will be the largest industry in the United States.
And
I'm
she was
quite worried
right.
about something. When we build all those roads and the shopping centers and all the other things and provided for automobile transportation, we forgot something. We forgot transportation as a whole. We only looked at the automobiles. Because of that, today when we need them again, the roadbeds of the railroads are falling apart. They're dumping polyvinyl chloride around the countryside. If we wanted to move our tanks from the center of the country to the ports to ship them overseas, there are no flat cars left because we move all the cars on those racks on the roads now. If we wanted to move coal to replace oil, there are probably not enough hopper cars to move both the grain crop and the coal. And the truth of the matter is we've done a lousy job of managing transportation as a whole. Now, as we come to the world of the microcomputer, I think we're facing the same possibility.
I wonder how she would feel about iPhones.
And then put programs
or
on
like smartphones.
When what we should be doing is looking
Since
at
she
the
was talking about
underlying thing,
microcomputers back in
which is a
1982.
total flow of information to any organization, activity, company, or what have you. We should be looking at the information flow and then selecting the computers to implement that information flow. Now, of course, if we do that, one of the first things we'll need to know is something about the value of the information we're
Richie
processing.
hates him. She probably hates him for
It's close
this
to 8 years now
point
that
she's
I've been
about to
trying
make about
ask people
information.
how they valued their information. I've gotten the finest assortment of blank stares you ever saw in your entire life. They even questioned whether there was a difference. Naively, I thought I could find out how people were valuing their information if I could find out how priorities were assigned on the computer systems. Boy, did that go flat fast. I found out exactly how the priorities are assigned. Top priority goes to the senior squeaky wheel, not to the most valuable information. Some people even questioned that there was a difference in the value of information. I use it as an example, a chemical plant I know up in Michigan that's totally operated by computer. Information comes in from marketing, goes to the computer. It opens valves, pushes stuff through pipes, tells inventory what it's made. The people are paid by the computer. Nice computerized reports go up to the president's desk. Now let's suppose that two pieces of information enter that flow simultaneously from two different ports in the system. One comes from a valve out in the plant and says, if you don't open me, the plant's going to blow up. You have less than a minute in which to act, 100 lives at stake, $100 million chemical plant. At the same instant, in the other part of the system comes the fact that Joe did 2 hours of overtime. Which is the more valuable piece of information? And what are our criteria? I've mentioned 3 possible criteria. The time in which we have to act, the number of lives affected, the number of dollars affected. I think there's a 4th, the importance of that piece of information in making decisions. No work, no research has been done.
Thank
on the
you,
value
Burst of
of
Fire, for
information.
gifting 5
We've
subs.
completely failed to
Would
look
you
at
like to save your
And yet it's
5
going to
minutes
make
of
a
shoulder
tremendous
time, or do you
difference
want 5 minutes
in
of
how we
shoulder
run our
time?
computer systems of the future. Because if there are 2 things that are dead sure, I don't even have to call them predictions. One is that the amount of data and the amount of information will continue to increase, and it's more than linear. And the other is the demand for instant access to that information will increase, and those 2 are in conflict. We've got to know something about the value of the information being processed.
We can save it for later. Okay, all right.
Everybody wants their information online. If one department gets an online system, then all the other departments want an online system. In many cases,
Dealer
that's a matter
no
of
deal
prestige,
bankers
not of actual need. I played a very mean trick on one activity. I tucked a counter in every record. Every time the record was looked at, I added one. At the end of 6 months, I printed out everything which had not been looked at. One entire file fell out. Yet the owner of that data had insisted that his information must be online. It was a matter of prestige to have his information online, not that he really needed it there. One outfit has taken a second look at the data from that point of view. It's the Coast Guard. They had a
Uh-oh,
file
Coast Guard
which contained
mentioned.
the complete history of every buoy. And when a ship went out to maintain the buoys, they'd look in the file to see what had been done about the buoy over the last couple of years and whether any message had been left to look at something next time. Those records started years
Yes,
ago as a postcard,
I'm
and they've
taking
gotten
note about
longer
how
and
much is
longer and
banked.
longer and
So far,
longer
it's
over the
just
years.
5 minutes.
The whole system was slowing down, and yet they needed rapid access to it. So they took a second look at those records. And they said, hey, we don't need that whole record online. All we want online is the last couple of years. We don't need to know when we bought the buoy and how much it cost unless we're going in for a budget to get a new buoy. We can have that answer tomorrow or the next day. They chopped those records. The front end of it that they need for reference to go out and maintain the buoy is online. The rest of the record has gone back to batch, and you can have the answer.
We really should have listened to her, huh?
Somewhat the same thing.
It's a very smart lady who actually had, you know.
They were carrying online for assignment on base.
I don't know. I feel like she would just rolling in her resting place, unfortunately.
So they took a second look at the records. And they said, hey, we don't need that whole record when we're assigning a man on base. All we need to know is the last couple of schools he's been to and the last couple of assignments he's had. We don't care where he went to high school. So they chopped the records. The immediate past history is online. The rest of it's going back to batch, and if he's going up for an award or a promotion or something, you can have that tomorrow or the next day. They've begun to look, at least, at the time value of the information. There's been no research in this area. There's no one publishing papers, not even on the relative value of information within an organization. Nobody is looking at the value of information or comparative value of different pieces of information. And we've got to look at it because it's cluttering up our online systems. And we've got to know more about the value of information in order to design the systems of the future. I thought up a couple of curves. I have no numbers to put on them. The research hasn't been done yet. But at least I think I can talk about the shape of them. Suppose this is dollars, and this is time. And an event occurs here. Now, the value of the information about that event goes up quite sharply immediately after the event. But the further you get away from the event in time, the more the value of that information levels off. It goes up very sharply, then it levels off. Now, ultimately, it gets replaced by a new piece of information. Or we decide we don't need it online anymore, and we transfer it to the historical files, microfilm, or something like that. Of course, in industry, they have to save it for the IRS. So the value curve probably looks something like that, a sharp rise, a leveling off, and then an eventual transfer to some form of historical file. What about the cost of that information? Cost of information is very, very low at the time of the event. But the further you get away from the event in time, the more the cost you pile up to store it, maintain it, and add any information to it. So the cost curve starts low, and then it goes zooming up. Now, there's a lovely crossover point there. That's the point at which keeping that information in our online system is costing us more than it's worth to us.
You're asking how much she influenced programming. She's not like Ada Lovelace, or, but I mean, she's kind of similar. The way we communicate with computers in general, she's the one who started that shit. Like this is, you know, the inventor. COBOL was like one of the first languages, one of the first markup languages used. So she's built the foundation, essentially.
And he decided to investigate the possible cost of having incorrect information in the system. He found a section in the privacy law. Fortunately, most of our government employees don't know it's there, or haven't found it yet, which says that if you have incorrect information in a personnel file, and if because of it someone's denied a promotion or a raise or something like that, they have a right to sue the federal government. It's one of the very few cases in which the individual is directly given the right to sue the federal government, and it's a very powerful paragraph. Whenever any agency fails to maintain any record concerning any individual with such accuracy, relevance, timeliness, and completeness, boy, that's 4 powerful words, as is necessary to assure fairness in any determination relating to the qualifications, character, rights, opportunities of, or benefits to the individual that may be made on the basis of such record, and consequently a determination is made which is adverse to the individual may bring a civil action against the agency, and the district courts of the United States shall have jurisdiction in the matters under the provisions of this subsection. So we decided to find out how much it might cost to have incorrect information in a personnel file. And he said, let's suppose I have a personnel file on 8,000 people. And
Hello,
he said,
Anarchy Raid. How's it going?
He selected things and looked at them and gotten
Glory to Emotopia. Oh God, what are you guys discussing today?
Correct. But he said, let's suppose it is. And that means that 5% of those records
video
contain
censored?
incorrect information.
Oh, the screen went
400
black?
of them
That's
contained
weird.
Incorrect information.
That's very weird.
Then he went and talked to the decision-making people and the psychologists and so on, and he says,
Well, we are watching
incorrect information.
Let me pause her real quick. We are watching my Oshi, Rear Admiral Grace Hopper, and her 1982 lecture. If you guys have never heard of her, they want to, yeah, I do know about the VA. I unfortunately know about the VA a little bit too well in the current situation. But regardless, okay, we are watching my Oshi. She is a fucking badass lady, first of all. Second off, ridiculously smart. Like, ridiculously smart. Currently, she's talking about the value of information in relation to when it's happening, you know, how much it's actually worth, and prioritizing information. And this is like one of the foundations of information warfare in general, which had just started becoming a thing. And people just started realizing, like, oh shit, you know, computers is going to be our next frontier. And she even mentioned that. She's like, we are on the verge of the new industry of computers. Whereas, you know, Henry Ford, it was cars, now it's computers. And so she realized way back when that the information that computers were going to pass and the data that was stored on computers is extremely fucking valuable. Yes, she did write COBOL. This is just like, I mean, I could go on and on about her. Like, she is just such a fucking badass lady. I'm trying not to, like, yap for the entire fucking 2 hours stream. But she absolutely, she's one of the, I don't even know how to explain it. She is the main bitch, okay? Head bitch in charge of computer science. So if you are in computer science, if you're in STEM, any of that, it is because of her. 100%. I already told my chat earlier, or people who had joined earlier, that if you've ever heard the phrase bug in the code or bug in the machine, bug in your computer, whatever, that is because of her. She found a moth in the Mark II and coined the term bug because it was actually causing issues with it. And that's probably, you know, one of the most prolific, I guess, biggest impact she had on, I guess, like pop culture, or I guess you could say colloquialisms. You know what I mean? Be using that sweet GI Bill for computer science engineering degree. No, I'm not comp sci, but I am digital forensics. So I've got a little bit of crossover with comp sci, but not a lot. Like my programming classes are very minimal. We're more so focused on like tools that are already written for us and how to utilize them and everything like that. And then like the other half of my degree is like heavy law, like very heavy law, which is a good thing because, you know, we're not about to violate people's Fourth Amendment rights, you know. Did you forensic intel weenie detector? Yes, unfortunately I am an intel weenie. My master's program that I am looking into is going to be on Homeland Security, so yes, I am an intel weenie, I fear. No, she did not create Oscar. She did not create Oscar. But yeah, so we're just kind of listening to her. And we're chilling because the amount of people who actually didn't know who she was a little disheartening to me. We were playing a game one day. I mentioned her. I also mentioned her during my debut, but people didn't know who she is, and she is just one. She's funny as shit. The first 5 minutes of this lecture, she stands cracking jokes, and just ridiculously smart. And a lot of the stuff she says in this lecture actually still stands today, which is a testament to how smart she is, but also how slow we move. How slow we move. Did you have a career in stand-up? No, but you would think so.
And they said, well,
you would think so.
It probably won't match the rest of the file. Nobody takes any chances on anybody nowadays. We think in 90% of those cases, a negative decision will be taken on the basis of the incorrect information. That would mean in 360 cases, a negative decision is taken on the basis of incorrect information. Then he said, we don't know how many of those people will sue. We have no experience with that yet. So by the laws of probability, we'll have to say it's 50-50. 180 of them sued the government. Now, of course, they're bound to win their suit because the incorrect information's in the file.
She does have a negative bullshit tolerance,
the
absolutely.
$2,000. I think he underestimated that. $100 for court costs, $650 for lawyers. Each of those cases is going to cost us $2,750. How much do we stand to lose because of incorrect information? Well, it turns out that 180 times 2,750 is darn close to $500,000. $495,000.
Booyah, risk management.
The possible cost of information in that personnel file. Now, to make that,
and I also want to just pause this real quick. This woman accurately predicted data breaches again in 1982. Can we just talk about that for a second? Like, I know, listen, this whole stream is gonna be me glazing this woman because, like, how people could do math on the fly like that. I mean, she was a mathematician, to be fair. But yeah, I couldn't fucking do it. But, like, she accurately predicted that, like, listen, like, there's gonna be, like, hella money involved in data breaches. And people not using information the way that they're supposed to use it. Again, I find very impressive.
Cost of incorrect information. We can't make a clear estimate of how much we're willing to spend to correct the file. I now know that economically I can go up to almost $500 million to get that file to a higher level of correctness, because that's what I stand to lose. We've almost never made any computation of the possible cost.
Can't do math in general,
of
real
information in the
Same.
system. One of the things that bothers me is we've talked about data processing for 30 years. We spent all our time talking about the processing, hardware and software. We paid no attention to the data. And yet the data is our raw material. Our output is information, our product. And we should be concentrating on the data and the information. The hardware and software are, after only, the tools which we do the processing, and should not occupy the primary position in our thinking. It's high time that we began to turn our attention to the data and the information that we're putting out. I don't know how I'm going to persuade people to do it, but I'll try hard.
I feel bad because people still don't take that shit seriously. Everything she just said.
We ran the Mark computers all during World War II. I thought you might like to know that the first computer bug is still in existence. We were building Mark II the summer of 1945.
Oh, there's the computer bug story.
There you go. It was a hot summer in Cambridge. And naturally, since it was World War II, we were working in a World War I temporary building. Air conditioning wasn't very good, no screens. And Mark II stopped. We finally located the failing relay. It was one of the big signal relays. And inside the relay, beaten to death by the relay contacts, was a moth about this big. So the operator got a pair of tweezers and very carefully fished the moth out of the relay, put it in the logbook, and put Scotch tape over it. And below it he wrote, "First actual bug found." I knew you'd be glad to know that the bug is still in the logbook under the Scotch tape. It's in the museum at the Naval Surface Weapons Center at Dahlgren, Virginia.
I need to see that
And I've told
moth.
that story a lot of times.
It's the first thing I think of.
Some
I need to
people didn't
see the
believe me,
moth.
particularly the American Federation of Information Processing Societies. So they made an expedition to Dahlgren, and
Yes,
sure
you
enough,
can
they found
absolutely
the first
have
bogey in the
more
logbook under
volume.
the Scotch tape. So they took a picture of it, and last year in the July 1981 issue of the Annals of the History of Computers, they published a picture of the first bug. And I think it's rather nice that the Navy is keeping a few of the early artifacts, like the first bug and me and a few other things.
It's like
However,
her
it finally
third
got
I'm
to be
old joke.
1946. And each one of us the war was over. Each one of us had to decide what we were going to do next. Now, up to that time, the Waves had all been reservists. In 46, the Navy offered the opportunity for the Waves to transfer to the regular Navy. So naturally, I applied for transfer to the regular Navy. And I was turned down because I was too old. The cutoff age was 38, and I was 40. And incidentally, it's just as well to be told you're too old when you're 40, because you go through the traumatic experience, and it never bothers you again after that. I really recommend it highly. However, I elected to remain in the reserves. Now, back in those days in the reserves, we had 3 jobs to do: summer training duty, weekly meetings, and take correspondence courses. We had to take correspondence courses according to our designators. I was then an ordnance officer. At present, thanks to the now defunct Bureau of Naval Personnel, it turns out I'm an aeronautical engineer, but I don't worry about that. So I took ordnance courses, and of course the Navy was using up all the old manuals at the end of the war. So I learned all about big guns and gun turrets and everything we were then phasing out of the Navy, though now it may come in handy again, till I ran out of ordnance courses. The only other courses that would credit for my designator were the War College courses. So
I would say no, there's no
absolutely
relation.
terrified, I sent for
Nobody
the first War
has made
College
that
course.
correlation.
And they sent me the first problem. I was to fuel a task force
any,
at
like,
sea in minimum time.
Databases
And
about
all they
her.
told me was
She,
how fast the different
they do
ships
credit
could
her
pump
for a
oil
few
and
pop
receive
culture
oil.
references,
And of
but
course I knew nothing about fueling ships at sea.
Starship Troopers, sorry, is not one of
But
them.
I had to do something. So I lined up an
Or
oiler
at
in a
least not
carrier
one that
and
I've
started
seen.
pumping from the oiler to the carrier. Perfectly clear that wasn't going to get me minimum time. So I decided they must have given me the rates for some reason. I looked at those, found I could simultaneously pump oiler to carrier and carrier to destroyer. And they'd both be filling up because the rates were different. Now, somewhere along the line, somebody had given me a course in problem solving, and they'd told me to always extend every solution. So I did. I started pumping from the destroyer to a corvette. We still had some then. That was all working beautifully. But that course had also told me I must generalize every solution. So I did. On the other side of the oiler, I pulled up a cruiser and a destroyer and a corvette. I ended up with half the task force, all hitched up with lines, sailing down the middle of the ocean. And my problem was returned with a comment, an interesting solution. I decided that wasn't the way you fueled ships at sea. Well, along came the next problem. This time they gave me a squadron of submarines, told me scout the Caribbean minimum time. Well, I knew less about submarines than I did about oilers. So this time I called on my friendly computer to help me, and I used a random walk program for each of the submarines. You should have seen that map. I covered it in minimum time. It was beautiful. Only trouble was I had those submarines cutting across each other. They made U-turns, one did a circle up here and come back and come back.
This is
An
me playing
interesting
Sea Power, by the way.
I was even beginning to feel some sympathy for the poor guy at the War College that had to read my solutions. And along came the third one, and that was the important one. I was to make a plan to take an island. Then after I completed my plan, I was to make 2 reviews of it. I was to review my plan in the light of all possible enemy actions, all possible future events. And then I was to review the cost of not carrying out the plan. 2 reviews which are critical to any plan whatsoever, yet I keep finding them left off of our plans for computers. We have a very bad tendency to base our plans for computers on the equipment we have in-house and the
Created
things we're
predictive
doing
models
now.
via computer.
And totally failed to review them in the light of the equipment that will be available and the things that we will be doing. I think the saddest phrase I ever hear in a computer installation is that horrible one, but we've always done it that way.
I hate that
That's
phrase.
a forbidden phrase in my
Oh
office.
my God.
To emphasize the fact, I keep a clock which operates entirely counterclockwise. Now, the first day people meet it, they can't tell time. By the second day, they discover what used to be 10 of is now 10 after, they can tell time again. Normally, it's not till the third day that they recognize that there was never any reason why clocks should run clockwise. They could just as well have run counterclockwise. There's no reason for the hands to go by the digits. I have another clock that has a pointer and the digits go around on a drum. Tells perfectly good time. Of course, by now I have a digital clock, and my helpful crew gave me an hourglass. But they sit there day in and day out and say, never, never, never in this office say, but we've always done it that way. Now, when it comes to carousels at airports, I can see a good reason why they run this way. That's because most people are right-handed, and that's the way you grab your bag. I still haven't found out why helicopter rotors go the way they do, but I find it rather interesting that we've always done it this way seems to be so much embedded in things. And it's the most dangerous phrase you can use in a computer installation. So hopefully, I'll give each one of you a very small gift. I will promise you something. If during the next 12 months, any one of you says, but we've always done it that way, I will instantly materialize beside you and I will haunt you for 24 hours and see if I can get you to think again. And I know it works. I've already had over 70 letters thanking me for haunting people. I'll be there. We've got to accept the new things that are ahead. One of the major difficulties is the difficulty of changing people's minds.
I wouldn't mind if she haunted me for 24 hours, though.
The Policy Committee, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all admirals and generals. I had to remind those gentlemen that they've had piles of big reports sitting on their desks that they'd had to read and absorb, big decisions they'd had to make. And they had not had time to keep up with the technology that was changing overnight. And therefore, they were going to have to learn to listen to their juniors. Say it 3
times. It's like Bloody Mary. Oh,
I'm telling all the youngsters, officer and enlisted, and civilian, never, never, never take the first no. There are a certain number of people in business, industry, government, who always say no the first time you suggest something new. Because
about
they're lazy.
COBOL being used
And
today,
if they say yes,
I feel like she would be like, why are you not embracing the new?
More dangerous in a way. Who always say no the first time you suggest something new or different.
From what I understand,
because they want to see
has
if you
been
believe
mainly
it
being
enough to
used
come
in
back
the
and ask
accounting
again. So
industry,
never take the first
and it
no.
still is.
Always go back and ask again.
Mama
As a matter of fact, I take about
is
4
an
no's and then I
accountant
figure
or was
out
an
how to get around
accountant
the guy.
and used COBOL, so
that technique comes
some
with
things
age.
do not change.
I ran into one of these guys during World War II in Buard. After about 2 or 3 suggestions, I noticed he always said no to things the first time. So the next time I went in to suggest something, I said, let's pretend this is the second time I'm presenting this. I said, you always say no the first time. And he looked at me with the funniest expression. I had him over the barrel from then on, because I just wouldn't say, this is the 4th time I'm requesting this. Let's just say yes now. So never, never, never take the first no on a new concept. It's terribly important that we listen to our youngsters. Some very interesting things are happening in the Navy. I know one case of a young lieutenant junior grade who went aboard a ship. The Navy thought it was too small to have a computer. He took his own computer aboard. He was an admin. Pretty soon he had all the ship's records in his computer. He was getting all the reports out on time, beautiful, accurate. Everything was just marvelous. When he was transferred, the captain had to buy his computer. I know another case where the commander of a squadron was told to take his squadron out to a carrier. He found that when he did, he would have to leave all his maintenance records in the Naval Air Rework Facility, the NARF. This didn't please him at all. He wanted the maintenance records of his planes with him. So he went out and bought himself an Apple. With the assistance of an ensign and a DP in the NARF, he
I know where this is going.
borrowed, stole, liberated, copied his records from the NARF into his Apple, got a case for it, put it in the space behind his seat, which is supposed to take his suitcase, and flew off to the carrier with all of his maintenance records and a computer with which to keep them up to date. Every commander of every squadron should have that. Somebody said, are you supposed to do that? He said I didn't ask. I long ago discovered, of course, you don't all have the same advantage I have, but I long ago discovered that the best way to get something done was to do it. And if necessary, apologize.
I thought she was going to go a little more in depth with that, but just to expand upon where I was thinking that she was going, because it's been a while since I listened to this talk. The Navy now has an entire computer program, and it looks quite ancient, I'm not gonna lie. It's called SCED. It's actually how we manage our maintenance and our maintenance checks. It communicates ship-wide, essentially. And it's kind of broken up into different work centers and everything. So, boo, SCED. Yeah. So I thought she was going to expand upon that, because right around this time is when the first maintenance application was in development. But yeah, SCED's, it looks ancient because it isn't. Low-key is kind of ancient.
Guys, you have no idea. Oh, gee, I didn't know I couldn't do that. I can turn into the most helpless old female you ever saw. We've got to listen to our youngsters. We've got to do the new things. And it isn't too hard to apologize, believe me. We had another case, a young electronic technician, first class, out in the Pacific Fleet, built a computer.
Shout out
The PR
ETs.
man of his ship thought this was terrific. So he took a picture of the sailor and his computer and put it in Navy Times. Admiral Cullen saw it. So he wrote a letter to the sailor and congratulated him. And he sent it direct through the mail instead of sending it through channels. So the sailor decided that if the Admiral could write him direct, he could write the Admiral direct. And he did. And he thanked the Admiral for his letter. He pointed out he didn't know Admirals read Navy Times, but he was glad they did. He then went on for 10 pages, both sides, single-spaced, and told the Admiral exactly what was wrong with the computers in the Pacific Fleet and what ought to be done about it. It was probably the best survey we'd ever seen. Sir Admiral reached out his hand and said, ET-1 Slater, Pacific Fleet to Norfolk. He gave him 3 more ETs and some DPs, that's our programmers, and some money, told him to build the computer. In 4 months' time, out of off-the-shelf components, they built it. 3 small boxes, database management system and everything, just beautiful. They set him up as the micro-evaluation group. It's under the Naval Regional Data Center, Norfolk. They've run every micro in the country and run most of the software. They know exactly what's available and what you can do with it. Anybody in the Navy thinking of getting microcomputers can consult with them, and they'll give them real good, solid help, writing the RFP or acquiring the computer that they need for that job. 3.5, 4 months ago, I've forgotten just when, they put on a seminar on microcomputers. They didn't think they'd really get very many people. They hoped for 100 people. They had to cut it off when they got 300. They got a hall in one of the local Norfolk buildings. They had booths. They leaned on all the micro manufacturers, each to bring in their micro. And they had every one of those micros, I think there were 27 or something like that of them, every one of those micros running an actual Navy problem. So when the Navy came in, they could see the micros doing their kind of problem. They've got some marvelous speakers. Probably one of the most successful seminars on micros I've ever seen, all put on by those young enlisted men. In fact, Slater, who's now chief, has recently written an excellent paper, Everything you ever wanted to know about microcomputers but didn't know who to ask. It's top-notch. You can get a copy from RADM, Norfolk. Excellent job. All the questions you should ask when acquiring a micro and why the different answers apply to different things. It's top-notch for an individual who wants to get a microcomputer or for small installation.
Technology is
like our small
is
Navy bases
perfect.
and so on that want to get a microcomputer. It's a beautiful job. Contributed a tremendous amount to the Navy.
I'm gonna pause this. She absolutely understands that the technology is not perfect. I mean, she was on the ground zero essentially. So I don't think she would have anything inflammatory to say. I think she would be more intrigued about what the issue exactly was and how it was fixed. You know, when you do listen to her talk or you read her papers, she's not like gonna curse out the USS Yorktown for a divide by zero error. You know what I mean? Or like she's not gonna curse out Microsoft for an error. You know, she's the type that is okay. What was the issue? And what was the resolution so we can learn from it, which I think is very important. Like I think some people get, especially in the IT world, they get a little bit too caught up in the how can we prevent everything and anything. But the truth is, like, you're never ever going to prevent anything and everything. It's not possible. Especially in my background, I worked, you know, most recently as a network engineer. Every network is different. Like you can have something that works one way in theory, and you can have something that works one way in whatchamacallit, I guess by definition, but that's not necessarily how it's going to work. So you said ads. Is there one rolling right now? I don't even know. But yeah, so that's, I don't think she would have anything like absolutely crazy to say about about it. You know, I think she'd just be like, yeah, so how'd you fix it? Which I think is awesome. I really do think it's awesome.
We've got to learn to listen to those young men. They're bright as they can be, and they really know that equipment. And it's true of our young officers.
Trust your enlisted. Hell yeah.
We've got to learn to listen to them. Because the uppermost people have been much too busy managing things to keep up with the technical developments. There's something else that was driving me toward the future and worrying about the future.
I don't know why this is...
When I met Mark I back in 1944, Mark I was 51 feet long, 8 feet high, 8 feet deep. She was in a magnificent glass case designed by Norman Belgettis. And what's more, she had 72 whole words of storage. Each word consisted of 23 decimal digits and an algebraic sign. And, in addition, she could do 3 additions every single second. 3 times every second she could get 2 quantities from memory, add them together, and put the answer back. That sounds pitiful to you today, but if you go back and look at the newspapers and magazines of that period, you'll find that Mark I was the most remarkable tool that man had ever built, because she was the first tool that assisted the power of his brain instead of the strength of his arm, the very first one. She did an addition in 333 milliseconds, 3 additions per second, 333 thousandths of a second. We didn't stop there. There were a lot more computers built during the rest of the war, most of them under contract to the Department of Defense at various universities. Not till 1951 did we have the first commercial electronic computer, and that was old UNIVAC 1. And a year ago at the National Computer Conference, they celebrated their 30th birthday. She even got a birthday cake. And UNIVAC 1 could do an addition in 282 microseconds, 282 millionths of a second, and we were going 1,000 times faster. We didn't stop there. By 1964, out came the first of the CDC 6400s, and it did an addition in 300 nanoseconds, 300 billionths of a second, and we were again going 1,000 times faster. Now, if you're not about the future, as I am, naturally you have to try and write the next line, see what it looks like. 19 question mark. Will we need an XYZ system that adds in 300
See, that's what I mean by, like, she wouldn't be cursing out the USS Yorktown for a technical discrepancy. She would be like, so what was the fix, and how do we move forward, or how do we make it better?
The answer is we need it right now. There are a couple of problems for which we need it very badly. The population of the world is increasing. That means we have to increase food supplies. The biggest assist we could give to increasing food supplies would be better long-term weather forecasts. You may remember a couple of years back they planted corn out in Iowa. Before it was fully rooted, heavy rains came, washed it all out. They had to wait for a second shipment of seed and fertilizer and plant again. It was too late. The early frost got it. If they'd known the rains were coming, they could have delayed the first planting and would have had that crop.
I actually disagree with that statement, that the privatization of the computer was a mistake. And one of the biggest reasons why is, first off, we don't ever wish for war. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say it, and I feel like I'm like a broken record at this point. And I don't know if it means anything coming from someone who has been to a combat zone. We should not be wishing for war. In that case, where's the computer going to go? What is its use? I also think that, not everybody, como se dice, wants to work for the military-industrial complex. Let's be frank. Let's be frank. Not everybody wants to work for the military-industrial complex. So, I think moving innovation to the private sector is absolutely okay. Now, if the military decides to use those innovations to its advantage, then so be it. But I don't think that anybody should have any one nation or one entity should have any proprietary, control, I guess, over technological development. Mostly for security. I don't even think so. Hot take. I will say, compared to some of the other things that I have seen in my time, the military does a great job of security. The federal government does a great job of security. If you've ever looked at NIST in general, or the National Institute for Standards, they set the tone for how things should be handled, how data should be handled, how, the type of stuff that we employ, I guess you could say, that, private sector doesn't necessarily do at all. In fact, private sector, for the most part, will just say, fuck it. I don't think that, the military in general, whether it's the US military, the Norwegian military, the fucking, I don't even know, like a military from a distant future should have any sort of control over any one industry, because I think that definitely sets a dangerous ass precedent. And again, I personally do not want war. Hot take. For those of you who have not served, I never want you to experience that. I never want you to have to experience being away from your families. I know I talk about the Navy. A lot of you who are here love the Navy. You love the military. You love learning about it. But again, and I'll say it till the fucking cows come home, y'all. It's not fun. It's not a fun thing. And in fact, it would be a very scary thing for somebody to have a complete control over one industry, or have, something, not be thrown into the private sector. Yeah. Not something not a future that I would ever want to be a part of, and I think that I would have a very, very big issue should should any nation or government or military decide that they want to have full control. Again, dangerous, and a lot of people could be at risk. So
today have a computer which will run a full-scale model.
How to prevent it? Throw a bitch fit if somebody does. I'm not even kidding.
We haven't even tested all of our models.
Or if somebody threatens to do that
we didn't have the data to feed into those models.
take to the streets,
The Navy was
protest,
dropping
obviously be
radio-equipped
safe
buoys
and
in the
everything
rivers
like
of the
that. But
oceans to get more information. We were putting sensors on commercial airliners, recorded on tape and took them off when they landed. But now we have the satellite photographs. Those satellite photographs, the Landsat photographs, are so darn good that when they're fully enhanced by computer, we can actually tell how high the waves are out in the middle of the Pacific. We can tell what the temperature of the ocean is, 20 feet below the surface. Of course, this
private. Oh God, I'm gonna go on a rant now. I'm sorry. I don't even think a private monopoly would be any better, because here's the thing. With the U.S. in general, we have this fantastic thing called lobbying. There is a shit ton of money in lobbying. Where our political system is backed by a lot of money and people paying, you know, representatives to swing certain ways, or, you know, that's dangerous as well. that's very dangerous as well. And I don't like talking, you know, politics, but in general, when we're talking about people's safety, monopolies in any form, not fucking great. Not great.
the catch. To fully enhance a satellite photograph takes 10 to the 15th power.
Yeah, we're not starting with politics. I'm going to leave it at that.
3 days on our best computers, and the weather's already happened.
No person, no
desperately
thing, no
need that
entity should have
information.
control over any one thing.
There's another area in which we're going to need computers. The news magazines, it's one of the, every so often they turn it up. I think the Corps of Engineers worries about it, but nobody seems to really point at it very hard. That's the question of management of water. My sister lives in northern New Jersey. A year ago spring, they were limited to 50 gallons of water apiece a day. And they came around and looked at the water meters, and if anybody used more than that, they fined them. Down in Norfolk, they began to run short of water. Now, Norfolk, city of Norfolk draws its water from wells. So they decided they'd better drill a couple more wells. And they got awful cute about it. They drilled them in the corner of the naval base and thought they'd get away with it. But they were in Suffolk County. So now Suffolk County is suing Norfolk County for stealing their groundwater. Nobody's getting the water, of course. Down in Florida, they drew so much water, they opened huge sinkholes and dumped houses and cars into them. Out in Colorado, the eastern half of the state's dry, the western half has water. So, same thing. So, the Easterners think it'd be a ducky idea to poke a tunnel through the Rockies and get water from the western half. No way are the Westerners going to give their water to the nasty old Easterners. In fact, Colorado, Nevada, California, all those states out there are in the courts fighting over who can draw how much groundwater from where and how much water from which river. Water supplies are going to be one of our major problems of the future. We may even import water from Canada instead of oil. Can you imagine what kind of computer power it's going to take to manage water so that every individual in the United States gets his fair share of pure water? It's going to be one of the biggest jobs we ever tackled. At the other end of the scale, we need the itty-bitty computers. I'm awfully fond of a small town in New Hampshire. They used to have sort of a septic system and a great big open burning dump. Along came EPA and said, you can't do those awful things anymore. We'll give you a large sum of money. You will put in a tertiary treatment plant for the sewage and an incinerator in place of the dump. So they did. They even had a parade with a band and everything when they dedicated the incinerator. They love parades in New England. Then they found they had another problem. Because they took the EPA money, the nice little old lady who keeps the town records, which used to be two lists, one a list of the taxpayers, she checked them off, paid taxes, the other was a list of voters, she checked them off at town meeting. But now she has to report to the township, the county, the state, the federal government, EPA, OSHA, EEOC, IRS, Social Security, government reports. Every one of them is arranged differently and totaled differently. And she's going to have a computer just to get the government reports out. And that's happening to every small business, every doctor, every lawyer, and every small town across the country. We're still going to need the itty-bitty computers. Everything from the itty-bitty up to the great big ones. I said we're going to have some trouble getting there.
Again,
To
would love
explain
to
that,
hear
I
what
have
she
to
thinks
explain
about
something about
smartphones.
myself.
Talk about itty
I'm
bitty
an
computers.
extraordinarily annoying employee. I normally drive all of my bosses totally nuts because I won't do anything till I understand what I've been told to do. So when you tell me to do something, I start asking questions till I get a clear picture of what I've been told to do. Well, they told me that first computer was adding in milliseconds. So now I naturally said, what's a millisecond? Well, they told me it's 1,000th of a second. And I had a problem immediately. I could see a second go by on the clock, but darned if I could see 1,000th of it. So I said, please show me a millisecond. And nobody would show me a millisecond. Time went on with me still fussing till somebody stuck a finger on one of my programs and said, hey, you wasted 5 microseconds. And I said, so what? What's a microsecond? Well, they told me it was 1,000,000th of a second. And again, I had a problem. In the first place, I didn't know what a million of anything was. The biggest check I'd ever seen was less than $1,000. I didn't know what a million was, and if I didn't know what a million was, I didn't know what a millionth was, and I fussed and fumed. I wanted to know what a microsecond was. I got nowhere.
Hey, stop the political shit. Stop the debate. I see it. I see it. Okay. And I see where it's going. And it is, the mods are going to get you. So it's better if I warn you than if Remy has to come out or Max has to come out. And it's not going to be good. So I'm just going to warn you right now. I'm going to warn you right now. I'm also going to turn on a light. Hold on. I'm going to disappear real quick and I'll reappear. Because I forgot to turn on the light. And I'll lose tracking.
Pretty soon over in the engineering building, they started talking about circuits that act in nanoseconds, billionths of a second. Well, that really had me on the ropes. Because in the first place, I didn't know what a billion was.
I'm back.
I don't think most of those guys up in Washington do either. And if you don't know what a billion is, how on earth do you know what a billionth is? I fussed and fumed. Finally, one morning, in total desperation, I called over to the engineering building, and I said, please cut off a nanosecond and send it over to me. And I've brought you some today. Now, what I wanted when I asked for a nanosecond was, I wanted a piece of wire which would represent the maximum distance that electricity could travel in a billionth of a second. Because it wouldn't really be through wire. It'd be out in space at the velocity of light. So if you start the velocity of light and use your friendly computer, you discover that a nanosecond is 11.8 inches long. The maximum limiting distance that electricity can travel in a billionth of a second. Well, I was real happy with my nanosecond. I looked at it from all angles. I thought about it. I looked at wall switches and counted the distance. Some of those lights went on. Gee, these may have taken a couple thousand nanoseconds. Finally, at the end of about a week, I called back and said, look, I need something to compare this to. Could I please have a microsecond? I've only got 1 microsecond, so I can't give each one. There's a microsecond. 984 feet. I sometimes think we ought to hang one over every programmer's desk so they'll know exactly what they're throwing away when they throw away a microsecond. I hope you'll all get some of these nanoseconds. I've got lots of them with me. They're absolutely marvelous for explaining to wives and children and admirals and generals and people. And you may find yourself in a spot where you have to explain why 2 pieces of equipment have to be close together, or explain to an admiral why it takes so damn long to send a message via satellite because there are an awful lot of nanoseconds. It's very effective, he'll believe you. So you may need a nanosecond, and I hope you'll get some. I hope you'll feel free to use this demonstration if you need it. There's only one thing you have to be careful about if you're going to use the demonstration. Normally, I put these in my overnight bag and check it. One day, I put them in my shoulder bag and went down to National Airport. And it took me 20 minutes to explain nanoseconds and microseconds before I could board an airplane. So if you caught them around with you, be sure you check them. I've got lots of nanoseconds for you here. I bet you didn't know nanoseconds came in different colors, but they do. But I said I wanted to add in 300 picoseconds. Now, a picosecond is 1,000th of a nanosecond. The best way to make picoseconds is get one of those big pepper grinders, and you can make picoseconds all over the table. 300 picoseconds is going to be 1/3 of a nanosecond. And there's my problem. I haven't got enough distance to get from disk to add, or add the two together and put the answer back. I'm beginning to push the velocity of light. Now, Dr. Einstein very carefully explained to us that when matter attains the velocity of light, matter turns into energy. It goes poof. Now, of course, I'm perfectly willing to admit that our bright young engineers are going to get beyond the velocity of light. They're going over into that anti-universe where they have white holes and talk to all the quarks and leptons and gluons and everybody else. But not in the next 5 years. And I need that computer before then. So what am I going to do? Well, I could use my common sense. Except that seems to be the last thing we ever use in connection with computers. Well, if I won't use common sense, maybe I can use history. Back in 1976, we got well accustomed to looking at early history. Let's try that. Now, back in the early days of this country, when they moved heavy objects around, they didn't have any Caterpillar tractors. They didn't have any big cranes. They used oxen. And when they got a great big log on the ground and one ox couldn't budge the darn thing, they did not try to grow a bigger ox. They used 2 oxen. And I think they're trying to tell us something. When we need greater computer power, the answer is not get a bigger computer, it's get another computer, which of course is what common sense would have told us to begin with. Incidentally, common sense is a legitimate scientific technique. The mathematician Polya, who worked at Princeton, he's the man who wrote the 2-volume text on techniques of problem solving. He also wrote a nice little anchor paperback, How to Solve It. And one entire chapter is devoted to the use of common sense in solving problems. Yet we sometimes forget to use it. So the answer is that to get the computer power we're going to need, we're going to have to build systems of computers. Of course, the first answer anybody will give you to that is that'll cost too much, but it won't anymore. The cheapest complete computer you can buy today is probably the old Intel 8021, the first of the 4-bit computers on a chip. 64 words of data storage, 1,000 words of program storage. Those are down to 13 cents a piece if you buy 100 of them. There's nothing to stop us from building systems of computers. Of course, I walked into one difficulty the minute I proposed the idea. I decided that if I was going to have systems of computers, I'd need 3-dimensional flowcharts. So I got some plastic plates, and I could draw charts on each one and pile them up, looked like 3-dimensional chess. When I connected between the plates, I used little pieces of string and Scotch tape, but they fell off. Finally, I remembered Tinker Toy and got a nice Tinker Toy set, and it had square things and round things and sticks to put them together, and I started building 3-dimensional flowcharts. But I ran out of pieces, so I wrote out a requisition for 2 large Tinker Toy sets. 2 days later, here's the boss. Well, Grace, what are we doing now? I have a better
Not
suggestion
asking the
for you
Navy to buy
today.
you some Tinker Toys.
Get some of those sets the chemists use to show you molecules. Red balls can be computers, blue balls can be databases, yellow balls database managers, green balls switches, and you can build a model of a system of computers and how they communicate and which ones are connected to which others. And you're going to have to get out of the plane of the paper. You can't draw them on flat paper anymore. They've got to be in 3 dimensions. And you're going to have to explain to people what these systems of computers are doing. And I think the best solution is get one of those chemistry sets if you can. Of course, you may have to explain why you're ordering one, but at least I've warned you what happens when you ask for such things out of the thin air.
All right, that was, yes, that was I believe that was part 1 of her lecture. She does have a part 2. I'm gonna say we're not gonna watch it quite yet. Maybe we'll save it for like next week or something, or another time. Yeah. So for those of you who did not know who Rear Admiral Grace Hopper was, that is that is her. All right, I am going to move back to home with our chat. So for those of you who have headphones in, this is your warning that the transition is coming in 3, 2, 1. But yes, she's hilarious. I thoroughly enjoy listening to her. Did you jump? Wait, what? Did I jump or did you jump, Remy? You know what? I think about that too because, like, I remember filling out those requisitions and purchase orders and stuff like that, and like, you do have to justify literally everything. Um, and like, even shit that's like absolutely necessary, they will find a way to deny it, which is absolutely fantastic. Love that. Love when that happens. But like, just thinking about how she had to ask the Navy for like two sets of Tinker Toys so that she could make a model was pretty insane. But yeah, I mean that is Rear Admiral Grace Hopper. So I hope you guys did enjoy that and kind of got to know her. I hope some of you will take this and I don't know, maybe you'll go forth and do some more research on her because, like I said, she is extremely interesting. There was a book that I read about her, and let me see if I can find it. I'll give you guys a book recommendation. I did 2 reports on her when I was in high school, and then I did another report on her when I was in the Navy for a leadership course. It couldn't get any more quick enough with her paycheck. But yeah, I want to see if I can find the book I read in high school at least. I don't... Was it that one? I'm sure the cover has changed. It's been, what, 8 years since I was in school? Or since I wrote that initial paper? And I believe it was... Let's see. You want me to read you a book on stream? I guess we could do that. Trying to find it. Not Alan Turing. Jeez. Grace Hopper. Alan Turing, also very interesting to learn about, but not who I was thinking of. It was like a white book. And I cannot for the life of me find it. What the frick? Maybe it was this one. Grace Hopper and the Invention of the Information Age by Kurt W. Beyer. I believe it was that one. Let me check the date, actually, because that would... Publication date, 2015, yes. Yep, that would be it. So, yeah, so if you guys want a book rec for more about her, you can read that. Yeah, I think it just had a different cover when it first came out. It was like an all-white cover. Very, very, very bland cover. Could you sing the words? Absolutely no singing. Absolutely no singing. I'm also a broken record with that. That there shall be no karaokeing. No karaokeing, no singing. Absolutely fucking not. But yeah, so there's that one. I'm gonna see if there's like, let me look up some more stuff. I believe there's also a 60-minute documentary on her, but I could not find the full thing, and I'm not gonna play with I personally am not going to fucking play with copyright strikes or anything like that. Not my thing. Otherwise I would have watched the 60-minute stage fright. No, more like I just don't fucking sing. VFleet has amazing singing talents. I am not one of them. If you like singing, go to Mo Faye. And Allie actually has a karaoke stream. Josie, yes, Josie was in here earlier. They are much better singers than I am. Just no. They don't stream at this time. I will say, but they do upload. Some of them upload their VODs on YouTube, so. Absolutely. If you would like singing ship girls, that's them. That is not of the talents that I offer. Honestly, my talent is fucking yapping. And yapping about Navy shit. And people that I admire. Mo Fei fusion, yes. Yeah, like if they were like gems, like the like in Steven Universe, that would be their fusion name, I think. May. But yeah, I am not one of them. Absolutely not. Oh, Britannica also has a little section, or little web page for Rear Admiral Hopper. I found a Norwegian website talking about her. Huh. Very cool. Let's see. VFleet Megazords. Oh, God. Oh, goodness. Yeah, some might not be up to date, but like all of the talents that I mentioned, they definitely have at least one singing VOD up for you to enjoy. So, yeah, definitely you know, definitely check them out there. Absolutely. Yes. Well, the Powerpuff Girl thing was actually a reference to, what is it? Is it Twice? No. Oh my god. K-pop stans, don't come for me. What's that? What's the fuck? Oh, no, it's not Twice. Oh my god. It was it's a reference to K-pop. I need to look it up because I don't remember. I'm also still trying to remember what the Nothing Burger debate on TikTok was that I found. Yeah, yeah, but like that is it's a reference. It's a reference, and yes, it's on the VFleet Twitter. Did somebody, please tell me somebody said it or dropped it in the comments? Oh god, no, nobody dropped it. It's gonna kill me, dude. It's gonna kill me. I can't remember. The K-pop stans are gonna burn me at the stake now. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yes, you will find me as a tree. I've already discussed this at length before, that like if we were to have a VFleet musical, you know, I would be tree number 5 or rock number 3. Like I'm not of the singing variety, of the performing variety. I much prefer the background role of being like a tree. So, you know, there's that. God, this is really gonna kill me. What is it from? I can't remember. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. K-pop, Powerpuff Girls. Yeah. Oh, it's New Jeans. New Jeans. That's right. It was New Jeans. And they... what song was it? Yeah, it was just... I can't remember. Oh no, it's just the song New Jeans. The K-pop group is New Jeans? Yeah, the K-pop group is New Jeans, and it's the song New Jeans. And that's the reference to it. That's the reference to it. Okay, that was gonna like kill me if I didn't look it up. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna that was gonna drive me absolutely nuts. What's still driving me nuts is I still can't remember that Nothing Burger debate that I found on TikTok that like was just really stupid. inconsequential, because I kind of like that. It gives me a break from the debates that do have consequences. I guess it'll come to me eventually. It'll come to me eventually. But such is life. Found Mo. So if you go to my Twitch, they should all be under the VFleet team. Mo, Faye, Josie, Allie. Allie actually has a karaoke stream this week. I need to give my sisters their plug time. Oh no, she's doing a Epic the Musical listen along. Never mind. But that's at 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. on the 24th. Is anybody doing karaoke this week? I need to look at their schedules. I creep on their pages. I'm creeping on Josie's page right now. Oh, I don't see her schedule. Oh, thank you, Remy. Yes. You can also go to the VFleet Project website, and then you can see all of their links and everything. Who can convince Eve to be a tree? I would have to find like a tree asset, like a VTuber asset where I had like a tree costume, or maybe I don't know. Maybe Kat can make me a PNG tree. That would be cool. A commission Kat. Like, hey, Kat, make me a tree. Tree. Oh gosh. Yeah. And then could put me in the background of their of their karaoke stream. And that's the closest you're gonna get to any Eve karaoke. You're welcome. Honestly though, if that gets people to support my other sisters and go to their stuff, even if it means staying up past their bedtime, because I know that I mainly stream for the EU audience that we have. Very, very small portion, but shout out to y'all. I will do it. I will become a tree for that. But yeah. You should do that when you go with them. Yes, we talking is hard. We will be collabing soon. It's my time zone makes it very difficult for collabs. When they are streaming, it is like 3 a.m. for me. Which is okay. I would definitely wake up, but there's only so many times I can wake up at 3 a.m. Next week, actually, I will be collabing with somebody. Super secret. Only you guys who are here will hear it. But you know how we were talking about Portal 2 and possibly me playing it with somebody? Yeah, that might be happening next week. So hold on to your butts. We do have that planned. And I'm super excited for that. I'm super excited, especially because she has not played Portal. So I do have to get her. No, not Nini. Nini has not debuted yet. But I do have to get her up to date on the Portal lore, shall we say. But yeah, we don't have or did you say that because of Nini, or is Nini lurking and I just didn't see it? Sometimes Nini lurks in chat and Nini is stealth. Tomorrow, you ready? Tomorrow the Admiral will be guiding me through my my first drop. I did play the tutorial today. Happy to say that I did not die in the tutorial. Actually, okay, I died once, and it was because my Xbox controller went rogue, like completely rogue. I had it on, she's stealthed right now. So I, shaking ass, hell yeah. A test, okay. Max, are you okay? Are you dying? Oh my god. Yeah, I will be giving her the lore while we're playing, by the way. I know how to summon Nini. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But I did die during the tutorial because my Xbox controller went rogue. I had it on Bluetooth, and for some reason, like, my dude just started going, like, absolutely insane. Bro was diving and crouching everywhere, and the camera was going crazy. I honestly wish I was, like, recording or something during it, because y'all would have not have fucking believed me. So I just learned that until I get, like, I think I need to get an Xbox adapter for Bessie 2.0. She doesn't seem to want to play nice with anything Bluetooth. So until then, I will have to wire my connection, which is so stupid, but it is what it is. You scared Nini off earlier when... Oh. But, yeah. So, I will have a wired connection, because, yeah, we don't need that anywhere. It was absolutely insane. Oh gosh, yeah. I was honestly kind of pissed about that, because, like, what? I can't even begin to explain how stupid it was. I didn't even gotten into the tutorial, like, full, like, you know, the what is it, the part where they teach you how to dive, was where I died, because it just, like, it just, I don't know. Like, it tweaked the fuck out. But yeah, it just do be like that. The tech scuff is real. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Bessie right now, and she's doing all right. But this is just a yap stream. The real test will be tomorrow. Luckily, I already tested. I do not freeze completely when playing Helldivers. So tracking and everything is fan-fucking-tastic. And I think it's, it is just a matter of RAM. Honestly, Bessie 1.0 she does not have the capacity to be playing Helldivers and doing VTube Studio and facilitate tracking and facilitate streaming. She's just running on that 16 gigs, man, and that's like a prayer. That is a wish and a fucking prayer. Now we're on 64 gigs. Hell yeah. Wah wee wah. Have a room for your super destroyer. I'll happily aid you in your quest for democratic liberation. I will have to ask. But I don't know if let's see. CV had an SB2C Helldiver. God. Oh gosh. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I will admit there's fucking a lot going on in that game. The part that's really gonna fuck me, and I already know, is the what's the shit? Here I go. My brain no work. What's that shit? The not the chroma. God fucking damn it. I literally cannot think. The starts with an, is it S? Shit. Hold on, I got this. Oh god. Sure, you can Helldivers too. Listen, we're gonna try. We will. Oh, the stratagem. That's right. That's what I was thinking of. That part's gonna fuck me. I already know it. Me running on 12 gigs. But are you streaming? That's the thing. Like, 16 gigs of RAM on the laptop is just fine for me to play my game by myself. Like, I can play Helldivers by itself. Again, it is just, I have to have like a fucking bajillion things open to stream for you guys. So Bessie is like, she is stretching that 16 gigs like real fucking thin. feels more like inputting cheat codes for you. Apparently there's a way, and I was kind of joking about this. I was like, what if I just threw it all with my Stream Deck? But I feel like that's cheating. Like that's not, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I could, but like, it's just, I don't know. It takes away the part of the game that I know I'm gonna fuck up with. So, you know, we'll have that. And then we'll be doing Sea Power, which will be super fun. And then, we're gonna play Wizard 101 on Friday. For those of you who were absolutely uncultured and did not know about Wizard 101, you will be cultured. And we will start a cult. Nini and I were joking yesterday. You know, we're screw hooked on phonics. We're getting everybody hooked on MMOs. For me, it'll be Wizard 101 because it's just, you know, it's Wizard 101, man. I still remember the TV ads. Yeah, we were talking about that. The TV ads were, oh my god, they're so peak. They're so peak. Honestly, hold on one second. Let me find some. I'm gonna transition back to my shit real quick so that you guys, what the friggity frig? Move over. Alrighty. I need to show you guys, since we have plenty of yap time. Like okay, these shits would come on, okay? You were like watching Disney Channel or something, these shits would come on. Oh my god, a full playlist from King's Isle. And my brother and I would sit in front of the TV and shit ourselves. Because, here, I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. They used to release codes at the end of these. Like, full-on fucking codes so that you could get free shit in the game. Given, the game looks nothing like this. How old are these?
For your free trial today. Rated everyone.
And the code would be like at the top of the screen. These have got to be from shit, I don't know. Does it say? I don't want to exit out of our playlist. Our glorious Wizard 101 playlist.
Visit wizard101.com for your free trial today. Rated everyone.
Oh, when gardening came out? Bro.
Dig deeper into the world.
It's from 2008, 14 years ago. Oh, mama. I am fucking old. Am I gonna start a guild? Yes. We can start a Wizard 101 guild, but I think it's only like 100 people can join. The secrets of gardening in the amazing lush world of and I would almost feel kind of bad if like not everybody can join. We might have to make like multiple guilds. Like each talent has a guild or something like that. Or each talent that wants to play Wizard 101. But yeah, 14 years ago, y'all. 14 years ago.
Host dueling parties in your own private castle.
I don't remember this
Collect all new pets and mounts as you explore
commercial.
Wizard 101's biggest world yet. Ask your parents' permission to visit wizard101.com.
Ask your parents' permission. Ask your parents' permission. Oh my god. Halloween trailer. What was the Halloween trailer? I feel like... How old is this one? This was definitely not one that was 16 years ago. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Is this what it feels like to feel like a fossil? I feel ancient. Yo, wait. For those of you who did play Wizard 101, do you remember when Selena Gomez was in Wizard 101? That was a whole ass time. Nick Jonas is still in Wizard 101.
The Wizard 101 team created a new storyline in their game that centers all around the launch of My Brand New CD.
And she was like in the undersea world.
learn magic,
Yeah!
summon crazy creatures, and dance to my new hit single, Round and Round. Do you have what it takes to be a wizard? Log in and test your magic skills at www.wizard101.com.
Oh my god.
See you there.
How old is this one? Yes, okay. So it's a big thing. It's Selena Gomez, right? And then they also have one of the Jonas Brothers, and he's in Grizzleheim, which is, funny enough, the world based on Norway. And he's still there. He's still there. You could still visit him. This was 14 years ago. Oh my god. She is not in Wizard 101 anymore. They took her out, unfortunately, and that whole arc that she was a part of is no longer, like, in existence, but it was a thing. It was a thing. What was her? Wizards of Waverly Place, yes. Wizards of Waverly Place, yeah. And that's why they got them, because I'm pretty sure, like, KingsIsle did some sort of deal with Disney or something, because they were together in the game at one point, like one of the Jonas Brothers. I think it might be Nick. Hold on. Which Jonas brother is in Wizard 101? Nick Jonas. There he is. There he is. This is his character in Wizard 101. Oh my god. Leave me alone. There he is. And he's in the garden, and that's in Grizzleheim. Jesus, my childhood. Yeah. So listen, this is why, okay, everybody needs to get cultured, because Wizard 101 is the shit, man. Like, I just mid to late 20s gang is having a bad time. Real, because what the 14 years ago actually, like, pains me. Oh my god, 14 fucking years ago is insane. Absolutely insane. But yes, this Nick Jonas is in Wizard 101. There's also Pirates 101, but, like, I never got into Pirates 101. I was always into Wizard 101, you know? So, I don't know. It does pain me. September 8th, 2010. September 8th, 2010, chat. Oh my god. I wonder if there's, okay, is there anybody, like, I'm trying to look in the comments, but now you guys can see that I'm, like, obsessed with Reddit story readings. I was trying to look in the comments to see if anybody is like, wow, visiting from the future. You weren't allowed on PC back then. Oh no. Oh gosh. Yeah, that was, like, the one thing, but, like, my friend and I would tie up the phone line, because here's the thing. This was before pre-Discord, where you had to use Skype. And for some reason, Skype would not work when you would play games, which is probably, one of the main reasons Discord was fucking invented. But Skype was just, like, it was shit, like, if you're trying to play a game. So my friend and I, we would call on the house phone. The fucking house phone, y'all. And we would tie up the phone line playing Wizard 101 for hours. And mind you, we did not get very far in the game. Like, we did not get very far. We were mainly concerned with, like, running around and, like, making our wizards look cool, and also, like, decorating our houses. Like, that was the thing. So I don't even think we even completed, like, we definitely didn't complete the first arc. I think I got as far as Krakatopia. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. That was the time. That was the time. But yeah. Let me go back to home so we can stop watching Wizard 101 commercials and I can stop feeling fucking old. Oh my gosh. Watching Ami's Q&A. I think that all of VFleet. I did do a Q&A for one of my first streams. I don't mind doing them again. This is kind of the form that I listen. I will always have a fucking Yap stream on my schedule every week, and one of the reasons why is because people ask me questions either in the Discord or they think about questions, and this is the space to do it. Like, I know we watch, like, usually I'll you know, have something for us to watch or to learn about. But yeah, my Yap streams are the space for you to ask questions within reason, obviously. You know, we don't need a fucking wild off the wall question. There's one question I did ignore this stream, and it was like, how's your childhood? I'm like, that's a little too it's a little too personal. We're talking about my childhood now with Wizard 101, but like that's a lot. Like, you know, and it was I think it was the first time I've seen this person, so I was like, you know, whatever happened to, hey, how's it going? How you doing? You know, just, oh gosh, yeah, it was just, yeah, that's a little too much, you know, but yeah. Can we balance the audio? I have already said I've already tried, and unfortunately it's something that is different for everyone. There's been, like, earlier this stream it was okay, then it was too loud for other people, then it was too soft. Listen, first off, I'm not gonna make everybody fucking happy, and I totally understand that. But the thing is I literally cannot change it. It's a video that plays. I've gone into it to try to edit it, and it still comes out loud. So unfortunately, it's gonna be a no. Because I've tried. I fucking tried. And it's just, yeah. It's no bueno. No bueno. Even fucking tried with you know, having the new computer. So I am fairly happy with the results we had today with stream, though. Didn't have too many scuff moments. So that's always a solid, and that's always a good thing with new equipment. Shit. New equipment always do be crazy, so it do be crazy. Like the Disney musical one? What Disney musical one? What Disney musical one are you talking about? Shows us scuff some love and it will love you back. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. With my luck, if I don't address something, then usually my entire rig is going one way, and I need to address it like right then and there. Maybe it's also probably paranoia as well, especially with Bessie 1.0. I hella, you know, had hella scuff. But yes, it is almost that time, friends. So get any last minute questions, comments, concerns. Feel free before we do our debrief. But yes, we do have a very exciting week this week. Tomorrow, Helldivers with the Admiral. You know, Thursday we're gonna have Sea Power. Oh no, I feel so bad. CBA is so excited to be here. I'm about to wrap up stream. Oh, I'm so sorry. So yes, we'll be doing Sea Power because we finally can do that with our lovely, sexy 64 gigs of RAM. And then Friday again, we will all feel old as we play Wizard 101. I am thinking about, we'll think about a guild. It depends on how many people are interested in Wizard 101, or if this becomes a thing, you know what I mean? Because I know it caps out at 100 people, and I would really fucking hate if we couldn't get everyone in that wanted to play. It would, you know, it would kind of be sad. Sorry, I have school. Real. I actually have to go do schoolwork after this before I go night. I have an hour before my bedtime, and so that is what needs to happen. Yeah, 64 gigs. It's the fucking. It's not a monster. This is not the biggest computer I've built or I've worked on. That would be my friends who actually like borderline created a fucking supercomputer. Like I don't know, there's no reason for that. That thing is like a fucking quantum computer. There's again no reason for that much you know, horsepower behind it, but you know, it just it do be like that sometimes. I'm more of like whenever I have a PC upgrade, and this will be my last tangent, I guess you could say. Whenever I'm doing like a PC build, I'm more of like, let's upgrade it as we go, you know? Let's said 4090. I mean, okay, but you stream. This person does not stream. So again, the only thing that I can think of is for like virtual machines, VMs and stuff like that. It's really good, but I don't, again, that's iffy, even then. So, yeah, so, but I am definitely more of a, upgrade as we go. The one thing I definitely did splurge on was the GPU, because that's very important for VTubing. So, but yeah, like I'm looking at it now. First thing I'm gonna upgrade, I might change out the case fans because that's just standard fans. And that's cosmetic shit though. That's cosmetic shit. The AIO is borrowed, so you know, she on borrowed time, so that'll probably be, honestly, that'll probably be the first thing. So oh yeah, no, we're not doing water cooling. Fuck that, dude. I've watched somebody hassle with water cooling. The thing is like I'm pretty good with my maintenance on my PCs and stuff like that, as far as like upgrading. But if I had to like change out the water and like every 6 months, it would give me fucking anxiety out the wazoo. So there's that. And then like, so there's that. Then there's like the discipline of doing it every 6 months. Like I just, AIO. The AIO is different. I'm talking about like full on fucking water cooled, you know, full rig. Yeah, the AIO is a little bit different. It's more contained. There's fucking 2 tubes, okay, and it's just, you know, at the top, yeah, with hard tubing, exactly. I'm not doing hard tubing. I'm not getting out the heat gun and fucking, you know, making hearts out of hard tubing. And listen, props to anybody who fucking does that shit. That is not me, however. And it will never be me. And yeah, no, there's no NSYNC. It's gonna be me. Yeah, the opposite. It's not gonna be me. 10 case fans, heat sink that can fight God. I just, you know, yeah. Give love PC half month too much. Every half month, yeah, that's a little much. I do every month, and I do it like when the patches roll out. You'll hear me cursing Patch Tuesday every month. Actually, I think I've already cursed it twice. So when Windows rolls out their patch the second Tuesday of every month, which happens to be Wednesday for me, I do all of my patching, all of my, you know, updates and I make it a fucking day, okay? I have a process. With Bessie 2.0, I'm going to have to make a new process. But on Bessie 1.0, it was, okay, fuck it. We are going to upgrade. First, we're going to do the updates for Windows, then move on to the GPU. So go into NVIDIA and okay, cool. And then any other bullshit I had going on, I would update. But yeah, that was... Wow, you're disciplined. It's, well, I mean, it was my job for, like, I don't know, shit, 2 years? 2 years after I got out of the Navy. And when I didn't do patches, I did know that shit was gonna be fucking broke on that Wednesday. I absolutely knew that shit was gonna be fucking doinked. And so, you know, that's where I get, that's where the discipline comes from. It's not discipline, it's actually trauma. If I have to, you know, say it's one thing, it's definitely, do not praise my discipline. It is purely a trauma reaction to shit being doinked. But, you know, it do be like that. All right, I've yapped for long enough. Tomorrow we'll go a little bit over the 2 hours because Lucy is going to be streaming right after me. So we will be absolutely fucking raiding into Lucy, which I'm so excited about. And then Thursday, Mo is doing Morning with Mo. So we'll raid into Mo and her guest for Morning with Mo, which I'm so excited about. So excited. I love when I get to raid my sisters. We have made a lot of new friends of the fleet. And Anna Markey, if you're still in chat, if you have other friends of yours. Oh, Alfie is streaming right now. So let's go over to Alfie. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Alfie's playing Elder Scrolls. Hell yeah. Okay, so Liberty Call. As per usual, same shit, different day. All right. The remaster, yeah, Oblivion remastered. Anyway, excuse me. Here we go. I need some water. Wasser bitte. Don't make a life. Don't take a life. Don't add or subtract to the population. Don't, if you're driving, don't drink, and if you're drinking, don't drive. And if you find yourself in jail, establish dominance as quickly as motherfucking possible. Alrighty, we're gonna raid Alfie. Make sure you guys don't act like jackasses in there, in Alfie's chat. Not that you guys do. You guys are pretty good, but still, just want to make sure. Anyway, guys, I will see y'all later. Bye!
I guess I could reorder it and see if they deliver.